Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Let me know if you can hear me okay. I just got a message saying that my microphone was not working. Let me just see here. Can you hear me? Guys, let me know if you can hear me. I see you can see me. Hopefully you can hear me too. Welcome, welcome. Yes, all right, awesome, perfect. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Office Hours. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. Awesome, good. Sound is good, perfect. Looks like we are all systems go. We will get this show on the road. Happy Friday. I hope you're doing well. I've had a good week, very busy week, which is good. I always like that. Had a great end to the week last week, skiing with my friends in Park City, and then rolled into this week and has been, kind of full sprint ever since. Started the day here today with some great news. My youngest daughter got a major role in Frozen here in San Diego in our community. There's a acting group that she's a part of, and it's a pretty big, like, this was an audition with over 100 kids, and she got one of the major roles in Frozen. It'll be performed in front of hundreds of people at a time, all that good stuff. So that was a very fun way to start the start Friday, was letting her know the role she got, and she started crying and all this stuff. So that was exciting. So good start to the week. We're going to go out and celebrate tonight. I said, what do you want to do to celebrate? We got to do something fun, right? And she said she wants to go to Little Italy for Italian food and dessert. So that's what we're going to do to celebrate. So awesome stuff. Everybody, I hope that you are doing well. I hope that you've had a good week, and let me know. Let me know any questions you have. So this is office hours. I already saw I got distracted there. I saw some questions and stuff coming in. Let me know any questions you have. This is office hours, so this is me responding to questions and doing my best to answer them. So no organized agenda other than that. I'm going to say hello to everybody, though. Hello, Charles and Linda. Welcome. Hello, Stacy. Joe, good to see you. Lisa, welcome. Jennifer, welcome. Dorn says he needs a nap. Don't let us stop you, Dorn. Carlos, welcome. Elena, welcome. Elena, glad you could be here. Looking forward to chatting with you. Mr. Robert Brennan, hello, hello. Laura says, good over 3 SaaS recently came across a PR training media saying to use social media posts, etc. to gain authority are a waste of time and money. Oh, yes, that is correct. Jason, awesome. Welcome. Thank you. John, thank you. Awesome. Michelle, good to see you. Let's see here. Tim Pepper. Yes. Fire away, my man. And I will go ahead and put the invite link for anybody who wants to come on camera. I've put it back there. And if you would rather just type in your questions, then we can do that as well. Yes, I love Little Italy. It's definitely a favorite for me in San Diego. I love Little Italy's wherever they are. I tend to love them. Something about the vibe. In Boston, North End, is the Italian neighborhood there, and I love it. I could go there every night too. So, yes, thank you, Don. I appreciate it. Yeah. Brittany, congrats. Sounds like awesome. Yes, definitely. Thank you. EJ, welcome. Manila with the cheese pasta wheel. I know. Isn't that awesome? I love that. Kale Wilson, hello from Texas. Awesome, Ryan. Awesome. Welcome, Ryan. Good. All right, cool. Let's see here. It looks like Tim Pepper, I can see that you are trying to come backstage. I cannot see your camera, though. So looks like maybe you need to plug something in. Give it a shot. And if that doesn't work, of course, we can always do chat. Who else has some questions? Type in some questions. Let me see. Let me hear from you. Jeff says, the video is refreshing every 10 seconds for me when normal videos don't do that. I do not know what that is or how to fix that, Jeff. Sorry. Oh, awesome, Michelle. Thank you. All right, anybody have any questions? If you don't have any questions, we will sit here and stare at each other awkwardly. I mean, I can start rambling about some stuff, and I will. I got the gift of gab when needed. But if you don't have any questions, it will be much less interesting, I promise you. So please, save me with questions. Let's see here. Joe says, I remember in a recent video you referenced the perfect business, probably regarding the MSP model. Please, can you elaborate on exactly what the perfect business model looks like to you? Joe, that is a fantastic question. And no, it would not be the MSP model. And so let me explain. The perfect business to me, Joe, there's a number of important characteristics. Some of them are objective characteristics and some of them are subjective characteristics, okay? So what I mean by that is that I think in order for something to qualify as a perfect business model, it's got to have very high margins. It's got to generate recurring revenue. It's got to be defensible in some way. It's got to have demand in the marketplace so that sales and marketing is not a really expensive slog. Okay, those are all relatively, I think, objective measures of a perfect business model. I think most people would then also generally agree it should have like a high degree of it should be productized, relying on some sort of assets versus people as much as possible, right? People are just definitely much more challenging to manage. And you're relying on talent versus if you have something that's based on technology or some sort of product. Coca-Cola has an amazing product that they've just been able to sell forever forever now, with barely any changes that they've had to make at all in the product itself, right? So those are pretty objective measures of a very, very good business model, a best business model, if you will. And then there are subjective things. And I think that this is incredibly important for you to know yourself and to answer about yourself and your desires for your life. And to do that very honestly and to try to shut out any noise or opinions of anybody else as you do this. Okay. And I am grateful that right now, you, Joe, you look like a pretty young man. You are growing up in a time when people are actually really valuing this whole lifestyle integration into your business and career choices. Okay. So in other words, right now, it is very popular to have like a laptop lifestyle business or a digital nomad business or a work from home, no employees. Like those things are very, in vogue right now. It's very popular concepts that have kind of captured everybody's imagination out there because people are now realizing, wait a minute, with technology, this whole pandemic thing made bazillions of new people, realize, oh, wow, I can work remotely and the world didn't fall apart, right? So I grew up, I started cutting my entrepreneurial teeth in Silicon Valley during the dot-com boom. And at that time, if you weren't raising hundreds of millions of dollars from venture capitalists and going public or being sold to one of the major public companies, in their opinion, you almost shouldn't even exist as an entrepreneur. You shouldn't even call yourself an entrepreneur. And so I went down that path for a while and I hated it. I really did. I just did not like it at all. There was anytime you have that clear of a path of what success is, that is wrapped up in that much money and power, like focus on money and power and influence and stuff like that, it breeds all kinds of bad incentives and bad behavior and just some personalities that honestly were just like, there's just a bunch of greedy, terrible people in that whole world that all they care about is lining their own pockets as much as they can, no matter who they have to step on along the way. I did not like it at all. And very, very early on, I was fortunate enough to read a book from a couple of books from some entrepreneurs who said, hey, entrepreneurship doesn't have to be about just size and going public and all that stuff. It can actually be probably the best tool to change the world for the good. And why it said that, it said, and these are things that I absolutely very much believe now, is that entrepreneurship can give you lifestyle, freedom of mobility, financial freedom, a sense of ownership in the things that you're working on, all that type of stuff that having a job typically does not do for most people. And those benefits and the psychological benefits that come along with owning the sense of owning your destiny, I think are some of the most important things that we could possibly do to make the world better. And I know it sounds kind of Pollyanna, but I mean, it's actually very practical. The reason why I say that is the reason why neighborhoods that are really well maintained are typically really well maintained is because people own the homes. Versus if you look at neighborhoods where people are renting primarily, those are the neighborhoods that tend to kind of fall apart. People aren't maintaining them as well. And it's just a mindset. It is a mindset. When you have ownership in something, you want to keep it nice. And so you invest in your community, in your neighborhood. It's the same thing when you have a business or you have a sense of ownership in a business, that you're like, okay, I want to take care of this. I want to build it into the best possible thing that I can do. That mindset shift, I think, changes the world. I've seen it in a microcosm when I have a bunch of employees and I give them ownership in the company. I had an employee stock ownership plan in my businesses so that they had a stake in it. Immediately when they got those shares, their behavior changed because now they felt like, wait a minute, this is for me too. It's not just for Mike. So the best business models to me incorporate the things that I really care about from a lifestyle perspective and from a bigger mission perspective. So for me, that means I want to have nearly total freedom. To me, it's like one of the highest values in my life is freedom. Freedom to call my own shots, freedom to do what I want to do. That does not for me mean sitting on a beach, fruity cocktails. Like I can do that for a day and I'm bored senseless, right? I like to be going, moving, doing things, traveling, all that type of stuff, working on stuff. I want to have the ability to do all of that and call my own shots. I want to have flexibility of time within my day. I want to have very high margins, recurring revenue, high income, all of that stuff as well. I want to have a very high degree of automation. I don't want to be very reliant on people as a core deliverable of value in my business. I'm absolutely fine with building a team, and I love building a team of people to help me operate the business. But in terms of the core value delivery to my customers, I don't want that to be based on somebody else's talent. I want it to be based on either the things that I create or something that's more of a product or an asset. So all of that was a very, very long-winded way, Joe, of me getting around to, I believe that the perfect business model for somebody like me who values lifestyle, who still wants essentially unlimited upside in terms of income and stuff like that, though, is to use content like I'm doing right here. This is content, right? To create scalable value to as many people as possible, which is what the internet allows us to do, which is what social media platforms and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram allow us to do, is to distribute that content nearly free to as many people as we want around the world, to then monetize that attention and that value with relatively low dollar offers. And information offers are great. Software offers are great, right? Because those are things that you can offer for very low dollar, but they can add a tremendous amount of value to somebody's life. All right. So now we've got massive attention, massive reach. We've got offers that are relatively low dollar, but high value. Having a very, very, very then low overhead operation that's based almost entirely on automation. So I run everything on high level now, right? My entire business, everything that I'm doing, all on high level. You combine all those things together, you have almost unlimited upside in terms of income. Okay. So my income, I can make $1 million this year or $5 million this year. It's almost entirely just a difference in how many people is my content reaching and what are a handful of levers that I'm pulling in terms of my offers. It has very, very little to do with me having to scale up my team and all that type of stuff. So it's an incredible model. Now, what that then allows me to do is the second piece of this puzzle is to take the excess cash and invest it in harder assets. Okay, assets like real estate, or it could be stocks, or it could be depending on what you consider a harder asset, cryptocurrency, things like that. That can appreciate in value. They're investments that can appreciate in value, even though I'm not working on them. I'm not putting in effort into them. Okay. So I think that combination of things, Joe, and anybody else is interested, that is the best business model. Okay. It's combining the very, very high leverage, high margins, automations of all the technology that's available to us, but then also investing. And investing, is investing when it goes well is like the ultimate business model, right? The Warren Buffetts of the world. I mean, Warren Buffett, I think, is such a great example and role model for all of us, because he's not a hustler. He's not I'm going to work, 90 hours a day, kind of thing, and crush Gary Vee and Grant Cardone with my hustle and stuff like that. He's patient and smart, and he puts money to use, and then he lets it sit and compound year after year after year. I just shared on Instagram a stat about him where it's 95% of his wealth was created after retirement age, essentially, for him. So hold on, let me get to, just trying to find this quote, but it's pretty incredible. It's like, it just demonstrates the power of compounding, right? Because we're all such hustle, hustle, hustle. And let's see here, it was, he made 90% of his net worth after the age of 65. It's pretty incredible, isn't it? Because it's just the power of compounding. So that business model combines both of those, Joe. Why do I say that the MSP model or the agency model, neither of those things are my favorite business models from a business model perspective? Okay. I run their San Diego. I love their San Diego. Is it the most scalable, incredible business opportunity in the world? No. But it's something that makes me really fulfilled and happy and a part of my local community. So that's the subjective side. Okay. But is it the best business model? No, definitely not. The agency business model is by far and away not the best business model. Okay. That's why if you are going to be doing that model, you should be doing it with automated productized services, because that is a dramatically better version of the agency business model. Okay. So, and why do I say that those business models are not the best? Just because they require a bit too much interaction with customers that can be really finicky, and that the sales process associated with it can be longer and difficult. Okay, those are the realities of that business. Yeah, Jordan says, no, don't say it. Not honesty, damn it. You're supposed to sell me more agency stuff. Yeah, being honest with you. Let's see here. Awesome. Lisa says, I purchased local newsletter profits. Thank you so much, Lisa. I love the information. Question, can I do the Feedly through Go High Level, or should I continue with Good Bits? Lisa, right now I would continue with Good Bits. I am hopeful that High Level will create some more integration here pretty quickly. And in fact, I'm not just hopeful, I'm super confident. So if you've seen, they're creating their own version of like Zapier, so that you're going to be able to like move data around from different sources, like in incredible ways. So I think that when that happens, there's going to be there's going to be some really awesome integrations that you'll probably be able to cut out good bits. Although the thing to me is good bits is so inexpensive. And the formatting, the way that it makes creating the actual newsletter so that they look pretty, so easy, that might be, unless high level gets to that point, it's, still may be worth it to keep it to send out your newsletters, or at least to create your newsletters. Michelle, the birthday snapshot has not been released publicly yet. I was actually just finishing up this morning before this call. It's all done, so I will release it this afternoon. Okay, thanks for your patience. Cool, let's see here. Awesome, let's see. We're going with a customer right now. Some videos inside and outside of their office. I can't stand the areas. Google World, yes. It's here. Okay, since new people are scared to offer services to businesses, since we haven't had enough customers to practice on to be confident, how can we practice all the different services we'll be doing? Jeff, that is a great question. And the easiest and best way to do this is that you just set up these services for yourself. So I say that the number one thing that you've got to do to get good with high level, confident with high level, good with your services, confident with your services, is to simply just set up everything and run it for yourself. So set up your agency, use it for your agency, use it for your own business every single day. This is why anybody who cancels high level, I'm just like, I honestly, I don't quite comprehend what you're doing, unless you're just quitting business altogether, because it is the cheapest, best way to build a business for yourself, right? It's this platform that has everything. It ties everything together. Like, just use it at the $97 version for yourself and get to know it real well. There's nothing that you're going to do to run your own business more cheaply than that. So just do that, get to know it, get to understand all this technology and automations and capability and all that stuff for your own business. But then what I recommend, Jeff, is that you set up a sub account and just pretend it's one of the businesses that you're going to be working with. Okay, so if you think you're going to go after roofers, put together a roofing sub account, launch a website, put together a sales funnel, practice, putting reviews in there and see what happens and how do you get them to publish to the website. Do all of this stuff. Practice loading a snapshot in there. Okay, and all of this sounds like hard work, because it is. You gotta before you are going to be qualified to do this for other customers, you've got to take ownership of, I've got to learn to do this stuff so I have confidence in it, and it makes sense, right? It makes sense that somebody would want to hire me. So that is absolutely, Jeff, the way to do it. Otherwise, nobody's going to, maybe this is like one of the most important things I can say about being an entrepreneur and starting a business is nobody is going to give this to you. Okay. No matter what anybody says about their automated hocus pocus, I'm going to make money fall from the sky for you. Nobody is going to give you a business. Nobody is going to give you freedom. Nobody is going to give you the respect and trust that you're looking for to do something on behalf of their business. It is all something that you have to take. You have to earn by busting your ass, knowing that you know what you can do, and then taking that confidence out into the marketplace. This is the most important thing. When I see people that, you're not publishing content, you're not really selling, you're not doing all that stuff, I know, because most of you, it's because you just don't have the confidence. It's not that you're lazy or anything like that. If you were lazy, you wouldn't be doing this stuff and coming to these calls and all that type of stuff. It's not that you don't want it. It's that most of you don't have the confidence. You have, a feeling of imposter syndrome. Although imposter syndrome implies that you're actually really qualified and you know this stuff, you just feel kind of guilty about knowing it or whatever. But many of you just don't know this stuff. You haven't like done the, like, I'm really going to dig in and get my hands dirty and do 20 hours a day of messing around with high level so that I know inside and out what's going on here. If you haven't done that, customers are always going to be able to sniff you out. They're always going to be sniffing you out when you go and talk to them about whatever you're doing, like, and they start asking you some questions and you can't confidently say, here's what we can do and how it's done and all that stuff. You're going to struggle. Okay. When I decided that I wanted to know high level, I dug in, man. I mean, I'm talking crazy amounts of time where it's just like, and I got 3 kids, I got businesses to run, all that stuff. It was just like nights, staying up until whatever time in the morning, getting up early and just like messing around with high level until I knew it. And it's always changing. And so I'm always trying to, get to understand the next thing, whatever, right? Nobody's going to give you that. You have got to create that. You've got to take that for yourself. And the only way that you do that is by digging in and earning it. Okay. That's the only way. So I know that that's not the thing that a lot of people want to hear. We're all looking for an easy button, but there's no stinking easy button. Okay. Maybe Go High Level is updated right now. I'm creating in good bits and sending out through Go High Level. Yeah, that's fine, Lisa. That is the way right now I would continue to do that. Let's see here. Joe says, what is the best way to productize services, especially done for you services? Does this mean having 2 or 3 tiers in our offer? Joe, go through my Services That Scale course. It sounds like you haven't done that yet, but you're a part of my community, so you should do that. Okay, go through Services That Scale. Okay, and you can get that for, I know I have it as cheap out there for like $37 or $47 or something like that. Okay, that captures pretty much a lifetime of what I've learned about how to productize services in that course. Okay, so it is not just having multiple tiers. Okay, that's just more like sales and marketing presentation. It is about taking your offers and productizing them. What I mean by that is some of that is just on the marketing side. So giving it a name, giving it a price, and those things sound like, oh, no big deal. But think about all of the like consulting services and things like that agencies do out there, where it's not like something with a name and a price, right? So as an example, if somebody comes to hire you and says, Joe, could you do Google business listing optimization for us? Yeah, I can do that. How much does that cost? So it's $125 an hour. Okay, right? They can hire you for that. It's a terrible model, but they can hire you for that. Or you can have a productized package. It's the Google Business Listing Optimization Service by Joe. It costs $497. And here are the 25 things that we get done. Boom, 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 boom. That's first step in productizing. That's not bad. You've given it a name, you've given it a price point, and you've given it boundaries. Okay, just like if you go to Walmart and you try and go buy a product off the shelf, when you go to buy the product off the shelf, you don't go up to the cash register and go, I'd like it to also have these things and these things. And no, it's Walmart. You get the product or you don't get the product, right? That's got pros and cons. You may leave Walmart and not buy the product. Okay, but it's got boundaries to it. It says, here are the things that are included in this. Anything outside of that is not included. So that may be an additional product you need to buy, right? If you want those things. So that's the first step. Second step then is that you actually go through and you say, okay, those 25 things that we said that we're doing in this product, now, because it does have specific steps and specific boundaries, we can turn it into a process, okay? So a process is a nice next step where we can at least say, hey, now I can hire somebody that I pay much less than I want to be paid, right? That's the way it works. And you say, okay, follow these 25 steps that I've outlined for you. I've got videos for you, training for you. Just follow the exact 25 steps every time I bring in a new customer. Okay, so that's the next step in productizing. Then the next step in productizing is you go, I can actually automate 17 of those 25 steps using a tool like High Level. So now I don't have to pay as much to get it done. My margins went up, and I can also sell them much, much more quickly because I can deliver them much more quickly because it doesn't take my effort to do it. Okay. So Joe, you can see what we're doing here. We're taking what was a service that was just very vague, and you're just responding to a customer saying, hey, can you do X? Yeah, I can do X. Sure. I need to be paid for my time. So $125 an hour, right? We're taking that and we're turning it into something marketable, scalable, something that we can deliver with automation, something that we can deliver with margins, something that we can deliver repeatedly over and over and over and over again. Okay. So go through services at scale. It gets into details of the frameworks, and all that type of stuff. Or Joe, if you're saying, hey, I want to do this for small businesses in kind of this marketing services model, just get into a high leverage agency. This is I'm giving you the version of this that I would suggest rather than you having to try and reinvent the wheel. Okay. Debbie says, what is local newsletter profits? Debbie, it's a program where I teach, if you look at There San Diego, my media business, the newsletter, it turns out, is a particularly easy and valuable version of media in a local market that I personally believe everybody should have. And I love repeatedly, I hear like Gary Vaynerchuk say this, the founder of ConvertKit say this, like if you are in if you're in business in a local marketplace and you don't have, a newsletter going, it's just, and I'm not talking about a newsletter just for your business. I'm talking about a newsletter where you are publishing content about your community so that you're just drawing in all kinds of eyeballs in your community. So like a media business, right? That, they to hear other people reinforce what I'm saying, which is if you don't do that, you're kind of crazy. Okay. And here's why. So Debbie, if I'm a real estate agent in San Diego, I will of course have Mike Cooch's real estate agency newsletter that my prospects and customers can sign up for. And they know what they're going to get from that, right? What they're going to get is Mike hitting them up with, hey, here's some houses to buy and, some tips on how to get a mortgage, and call me when you're ready to sell your house so I can, make money, right? It's a marketing newsletter. But Mike Cooch, the real estate agent in San Diego, should also have a newsletter that he's publishing called There San Diego, where it's all the best things to eat, drink, see, and do in San Diego. And I have tens of thousands of subscribers on it. And now I can put little banner ads in each of those newsletters that go out that say, Mike Cooch Real Estate, Mike Cooch Real Estate, looking to sell your home, contact Mike Cooch Real Estate, right? I've created my own advertising asset for me that I control. It gives me tremendously greater influence in my marketplace than if I'm just a real estate agent competing like all of the other real estate agents. Okay. So local newsletter profits is how to do that. Good Bits is a really fantastic, simple tool that allows you to put together a really nice newsletter and publish a newsletter, just like I'm referring to there, really quickly and easily, and have it look really, really nice and go out the door. So my newsletter that I publish every week for tens of thousands of people, it takes me 30 minutes max to put the thing together and get it out the door. Okay. So I had several people ask for local newsletter profits. That's what that is. Okay. Debbie says, another question. I offer business coaching for online creators right now. Cool. Want to start doing some B2B models like you're talking about. What's the best way to get started? No list for the B2B, just entrepreneurs. Do I run ads targeted to specific niches? Yeah, Debbie, running ads and creating content, right? The good thing is you understand the whole content space, it sounds like. So yes, running ads and creating content. And ideally, creating content and running ads to promote that content that establish your credibility, your authority, and then of course also to a certain percentage communicate your offers. And I say to a certain percentage because I want the majority of your content out there. I mean, if you look at all the content I put up on YouTube, right? It's very rarely, like the closest thing to a sales pitch I've put up on YouTube was I published the Upex webinar that I just did recently. And, and that's an educational sales pitch. It's saying, hey, here's this awesome piece of software, go get it, right? But generally all the content that I'm putting up there is content. It's educational. I'm showing thought leadership. And then it says, and if you want more of this, down the links below, you can learn more about my products and services and that type of thing. So, I'd like to see, 80% of your focus be on content that establishes your brand, your authority, your knowledge, your expertise, makes you desirable to somebody to want to learn from and work with. And then 20% or so be, focus on promoting your offers. Okay. But yeah, I mean, there's really, I think the only other thing that I would say, Debbie, that is kind of a secret unlock, if you will, to growing faster in B2B, that can be, although less so now, but it used to be more different. It used to be pretty different than B2C. So for B2B, you can find really, really good channels to market and sell through that have already aggregated your audience. And so what I mean by that is if you're selling to plumbers, well, there's some big, association of plumbers nationally, but there's also some local association of plumbers. There's probably unions. There's, Home Depot probably has some big list of plumbers that you can buy or sponsor events for locally and stuff like that. So there's these channels that you can tap into, other podcasts or video or YouTube channels or whatever that you can advertise on or be a guest on that can get you massive exposure quickly in those B2B markets. Those are things that I've done successfully in the past to grow very quickly. And so that's the other real angle that I would be looking into. Okay. Michelle says, to send a Good Bits newsletter through High Level, do you paste the HTML code? Yeah. Yep. That's exactly it. I don't have just the direct integration right now. Greetings, happy Friday. Currently working from home with a lot of downtime in between calls. What simple service would you offer first to help me get out of my 9-to-5? Thanks for your time. This is a great question. I know a lot of people are caught in this situation. So it's like, Mike, all this stuff sounds good, but how do I offer services and get out of my 9-to-5? I will tell you that offering services and getting out of your 9-to-5 is difficult. It's very, very difficult. Okay. What I should say, offering services while you're still doing your 9-to-5 is very, very difficult. And the reason why is because your customers want to talk to you during business hours typically, right? And so you've got to look for something that you can do, the kind of necessary work of either outside of a 9-to-5, or you've got to look for something that can be really almost entirely automated. So it doesn't matter if it's happening during business hours while you're at your job. Okay. So in that case, you really, really want to offer a very productized automated service. So if it's something like, if you're using High Level, the GON network, I don't know if you are, but if you're looking at using something like High Level, a service like missed call text back is a great service. Doing birthday campaigns can be a great service. These types of services rely essentially 100% on automation and technology to actually do the job. And they tend to be simple enough that you could sell them without having a full-blown sales conversation necessary. It's still going to be hard though, because there's always some sort of onboarding and at least some degree of conversations that you're typically having to have with a customer. So if you can't do that at all during your 9-to-5, it's hard. It's hard. Honestly, again, if I'm just being completely transparent, like I have been, if you don't have the financial resources to leave your 9-to-5, or at least make it a 9-to-12, or something like that, I would do one of two things. I would look to get a job in the market that you ultimately want to start your business in, so you can get some real good hands-on experience while you save money. So in other words, if you really want to be in the agency business, find an agency to work for and try and get a job with them so you really learn the ropes, right? Or the second thing is I would look to start a different type of business where time doesn't matter, right? This is what my leverage brand is all about. And I have not really been pushing it forward here because I've been so focused on the high level stuff. But, information publishing, content marketing, things like that you can do anytime, night or day, are better business models when it comes to having, the flexibility to have time freedom. So maybe that's what you do. Maybe that's what you do temporarily to get you to a point where you can have the financial resources to leave the 9 to 5, and then you do whatever you want. But going back to Joe's question about what's the best business model, to me, the best business model is a business model that is not so time sensitive, right? Because that goes back to that freedom variable and flexibility variable. And that's the challenge with anything, agency or anything like that, is that you're dealing with small businesses that typically want to talk to you during business hours. So that's not a problem if you can do it full time. It's a challenge if you can't do it full time. Okay. Let's see here. Did everybody use a sub account with pre-populated snapshots? Eye candy. Yep. Nice. You can add one sub account at the $97 plan. They give you that one sub account so you can mess around with it. Wednesday's live stream, you spoke against offering a full marketing system. I'm seeing resistance from prospects. Well, Michelle, I don't believe that I spoke against offering a full marketing system. I am saying that you do not have to, and I'm saying that it does not have to be your only approach, even if you do offer it. Okay, so when you create a full system and that's what you sell, it has a lot of benefit to it, right? Both from the customer perspective and your perspective, which is, from the customer's perspective, they go, oh, look, I can finally forget about all this stuff and quit trying to stitch together all these different vendors and tools, because Michelle has the answer for me. And so I can just sign up for this and move on, right? So that's a nice feeling. It's a mental relief. And then for you, Michelle, the benefit that gives you is that you can kind of give them something with these boundaries that protect them from going elsewhere, getting caught up with other vendors, or simply messing up your results of your services because they're not doing a good job with things that they need to be doing a good job of. So this is the classic challenge with lead generation agencies. You generate leads for them, but then they don't follow up. The customer doesn't follow up. And you're like, well, yeah, of course these leads stink. You're not following up with them. It's not the leads, it's that all leads require follow-up and you're not doing any follow-up, right? So that's how then, a lead generation agency goes, oh, we need to offer follow-up services too. And so it starts, getting bigger, right? So you do not have to offer everything. There's no rule out there that says you have to be a complete business model. Okay. So let me just give you an example. The guys who edit my little short form videos, right? That's all that guy does, is edit short form videos. He's got a really nice little business going where all he does is edit short form videos. Could he edit long form videos? Could he, schedule and post the videos for me? Could he do all kinds of other things related to content marketing and social media and stuff that would make it a bigger, more robust service? Yes, he could. But that creates all kinds of different challenges. And what he does is, I just edit short form videos. Perfect. Okay. So what I have found is, in the agency space, over the last 10 years or so, there became this obsession with, you need to be the agency for dentists, right? And so people would, go out there and, oh, I've got to be the agency for dentists. That means I have to be a guru. I have to write the book, literally, right? That's what's taught in the space, which there's nothing wrong with it, except for there's only going to be so many of the dental marketing agencies, right? There's only so many gurus that people. It's like typically in brands like that, there's 1, 2, and 3, and that's it, right? So once there's 1, 2, or 3 leaders in that space, then your customer's ability to pay attention to another leader and listen to another leader just starts to drop off. So you can get into this position where there's already some established players in the marketplace, or you don't have the experience to be the guru in that space, and so you struggle with it. And again, because I think so many people were taught that model, that's the limits to how people are thinking, when the reality is there's a bazillion awesome opportunities to provide some good productized services that are they're not everything. So again, that video editing service is an awesome example. Podcast editing would be an awesome example. I've got a friend that has a multi-million-dollar agency that all he does is the web chat widget and respond to the web chats. And that's it. He has the web chat widget. It goes on the customer site, and he's got a team of people that respond to the web chat widget conversations with very scripted, mostly automated, but with a human there to keep an eye on it. Multi-million-dollar recurring revenue, super high margin service. So it's just that one thing. There's a bunch of businesses out there that all they do is reviews. There's a bunch of businesses out there that all they do is lead generation, or all they do is publish blog posts for you, right? Social media, content creation, or social media management, posting, things like that. So you don't have to do everything. Now, the key is, if you are going to do a more limited service, you've got to understand the customers that you're targeting and whether or not it's a good market for you to do that. So here's what I mean by that is, typically, if you are offering just a one-off service, then it's got to be for somebody who really understands the value of that one-off service and can buy it, quickly. So in other words, like if I am a content creator trying to create content these days, the appeal of somebody just saying, hey, Mike, I can just edit your vertical videos for you. We'll do, 5 of them a week. No problem. Here's how much it costs. Boom, boom, boom. It's just super simple. You just put raw footage here and my team just creates the videos for you. Like, because I am a content creator, I understand that and can be sold it very, very quickly. Okay. My stage of awareness, if you go back to the marketing stages of awareness, I am all the way on the far end of the spectrum of the stage of awareness. If that same person came to me and I wasn't already a content creator, but vertical video is important and I should be doing it. You guys know it as a marketing agency. I should be doing it. But if I am somebody who does not understand the value of that and hasn't been creating content regularly yet, and you come to me and you go, hey, I can do vertical video editing for you. You should be doing vertical video. Why aren't you doing vertical video? Right? That sales pitch and sales process sucks. Now you're having to educate this person on why they should be doing it. So it's a totally different buyer. I've got to be fully down the line. If you're going to sell me podcast editing services, well, I've got to be somebody who, understands, like, I'm already doing podcasting. I understand the pain of having to edit my podcast every time, right? So your customer avatar changes. You've just got to make sure that you know who that is now, and make sure that there's a big enough market and a way of reaching them that you feel confident, like that's going to have enough firepower to create the business that you want to create. So it's generally got to be around like these concepts or problems that are they're big. They're more universal. When I say big, they're ubiquitous, not big as in necessarily big dollar value problems. Like, editing my video is not a big dollar value problem, but it's super, super prevalent now, right? There's a bazillion marketers out there that need help editing those videos. And so it is a big niche. It's a big market. Okay. Tim, I still, I see you back there, man, but I don't see any There's nothing plugged in. It just shows an empty plug. I might be able to hear you. Let me see if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man. Go for it.
Okay. You ready?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks, by the way. So, UpHex, I've watched the video twice, and kind of a two-part question in a way. One's a deviation from it, but my problem, Mike, is that my personal Facebook account has been ad restricted for a long time. I can't get through to anybody. I can't even submit anymore. It's like it's in the black hole. The funny thing is, it had been a long, long time since I'd even ran ads. I don't even know what happened. Okay, and quite frankly, I'm kind of tired of fighting them and trying to get through. I mean, I gotta move on. So, let me finish this part, and then I'll go back to UpHex. So, I mean, about all I can think of is with my wife's personal account, is to open up a new business ad manager through her account. I mean, do you have any other suggestions?
No, it sucks.
Yeah. I'm not spoofing it. I don't want to open up a new account under my dog's name, right? So,
I mean, I would consider, I would do that, and then I would just do everything that you possibly can to get through the Facebook. I mean,
if I could get to
hitting them up every single day, calling, trying to find contacts, anything you possibly can.
Even when I go to all the resources, like they're not even telling me what's wrong. It's just lost. There's nothing. I have no resources to tell me that I did this, that, or the other, which I didn't do this, that, or the other, because it's been a long time since I ran an ad. So something in the algorithm, just whatever.
I hear you, man. I had the same thing happen to me for like 6 months, and then it just came back on. I got a message from one day saying, "Oh, we made a mistake. Sorry about that."
Yeah. Well, so I got to move on. So you don't seem real big on opening a business ad manager through my wife's account, and then that kind of feeds into I mean, if I got to do it, I got to do it, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, I think that's kind of your only option at this point.
Yeah, pretty much. So with UpHex, do you need? And of course, I would run it through my customers' ad managers or their ad accounts, but I still have to have a personal account, correct or not, with UpHex? Or can I hook directly from UpHex to a business to a client's ad manager?
No, you don't. Technically, you don't have to. But I mean, but you need to have an ad account. I mean, there's no way you're gonna, like the answer is yes, you need to have an ad account. But technically, you don't need to have an ad account.
Okay.
Because you're not hooking up to their accounts. It's them hooking up their account to UpHex directly. I mean, it really has nothing to do with your ad account.
Okay. So I should still run it through my personal account, ideally.
Well, you can't run it through your personal account, right?
Okay. I mean, if I could, right.
Well, that would be ideal. Yes. Is that you would, I mean, and just to make sure we're talking the same stuff, you would set up a business ads manager account.
Right.
That you are essentially the person connected to that account.
Right.
Right. But yes, you would have a business ad manager account and set that up properly. Yeah. But if you can't set that up with you as the person who's able to advertise, then I'd set up your wife.
I mean, I've got a business ad manager. I have 7, 8 old accounts in it, but I can't set up a new account. I can't set up a new ad account because it's through my personal account.
Yeah, sucks. Probably gonna have to use your wife's account.
So there's really no workaround at this point. Well, again, I could create one through my wife's account, but okay, that was just, I was unclear with UpHex if I needed to still have, maybe what I'll do is I'll just take out the trial and see if I can mess around with it and find something out like that, right? See if there's a workaround that's not going to PO them off. That's cool, right? I mean, you don't know, maybe, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Good luck. I know it stinks. Like I said, I've been through it.
I've already moved on to, what, it's not, just to where it's Facebook, but sometimes you got to move on. It's not the end of the world. There are other resources out there that aren't so, I don't want to say
Yep.
bad words on here, but they're being what they are, and that's the way it
Yeah.
is. So I know I'm not alone in the world either. So
Yeah. Yep. That is
cool.
true.
All right, Mike. That's it.
All right. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
Let's see here. Doran, can you use trigger links to go high level outside of the system? No. I mean, it's got to be in order for the trigger link to work. You can't like just take the trigger link and plop it on some random website, as a hyperlink on that website and have it work. It's got to be used in a high level, asset in order for high level to be able to see that trigger and respond to it. Okay. How can you get access to local newsletter profits? I can here. Hold on one second. I can share a link. I have a discounted link to purchase of it. Give me 1 second. I'll get the discounted link. But you can get my products off of my website if you go to servicesatscale.com and go to products. But that will be a regular price for it. So I am sure I have a discounted price. Let me just see here. This should do it. See real quick. Let me make sure it does. Yep. So this is like I'll just put it in the chat, but this is like a 40% off. It's a 40% off link if you click through there. That one right there. Cool. Let's see here. And thank you. Let's see here. Carlos asked a great question. Carlos says the SaaS business model is becoming exponentially more competitive by the month. So besides differentiation, what else do you advise we do to navigate this scenario? Well, I assume you mean, Carlos, by don't just give you the answer differentiation, because that's kind of empty to just say that, but it is the answer. I mean, I think you know that, and you understand that in a marketplace that's crowded and competitive. In order for you to win, differentiation is how you do that. Unless you have some true moat, around your business that's defensible. So the question is then, how do you differentiate? And the question on how you differentiate is a couple of ways that I would stress to you. Okay, so one, this is the reason why I say to sell systems versus selling SaaS. Okay, so SaaS, software as a service, is a tool, and a tool is very, very, very largely commoditized. Okay, if you tell me I need a hammer and I go down to Home Depot and I see 14 different hammers hanging on the wall, they're all hammers to me, right? Sure, somebody knows that there are actually differences between those hammers, but for me, looks like a hammer, swings like a hammer, it's a hammer. If you're selling a hammer to a carpenter, then they can tell the difference between those hammers and they know what to get. But the point being that the far majority of people in the SaaS space are just throwing up websites that look like high level, sound like high level, and just say, now I can, do these cool automated things for you, right? Sign up for our tool and you can do these cool automated things for your business. That is absolutely, completely not differentiated anymore, because as you said, there's just a whole bunch of people out there doing it. So selling a system as a service, as I recommend, is where you combine the tools plus other marketing assets that you create, particularly for the businesses that you're selling to, and then the service that you provide on top of that as well. So a system brings all of those components together. So the tool is an important part of it, but it's just one part of it. So in other words, if I sell you, Carlos, if I sell you high level and say, go use high level, that's a very undifferentiated thing. Now there's a bazillion people out there that will sell you high level. So Carlos, I mean, I am a real example. So what am I doing other than just selling high level? Well, I sell high level, plus I give you all my agency business training, sales training, plus I create snapshots, marketing materials, all that type of stuff. Plus I do these calls. Plus I do 2 live training calls each week. So those are all things that I do so that somebody will buy high level through me versus buying high level through somebody else. And it's because of that, I'm one of high level's, biggest partners, right? Because those are the things I'm doing to differentiate myself. Okay. The other thing that I think is still a huge opportunity, Carlos, in terms of a way to differentiate yourself in the business is simply through attention. Okay. And what I mean by that is that most of the, agencies in this marketplace are still just doing almost nothing in terms of marketing themselves. So they have no footprint out there. They have no brand recognition. They have no attention. And they have a top of funnel that's this wide. It's like, 7 prospects that they're talking to. And then they're wondering why they can't really get their business to grow. Okay, when that should be 7,000 prospects they're talking to. So, Carlos, there is still a huge opportunity for you to just go out there and have a bigger name than almost anybody else in the marketplace and to steal market share because of that. Because right now, the majority of small businesses out there in the world, they haven't heard of you, they haven't heard of me, they haven't heard of your competition, they haven't heard of anybody. And so there's nobody that they're looking to and going, oh, these guys are the leaders, the thought leaders, right? And when you do a good job of that, you create a brand, you create awareness that gives you differentiation. It gives you a moat around your business. This is what HubSpot has done better than anybody. HubSpot understood it very early on. Man, we're going to go out there and create so much content that if any small business searches for anything related to these topics, we're going to show up. And it's given them massive differentiation in the marketplace. Okay, so those are the things that I would stress to you. The answer is still, of course, differentiation. It's just, I know that just saying that one word like that is an empty response. Joe says, my main service is Facebook ads and really want to use UpX to make service delivery easier. Absolutely. Would you do this as a done-for-you service using a VA to run the campaigns or offer do-it-yourself ads through Go High Level? Personally, Joe, if that's your main service, if that's what you're building your business around, I would do both. And the reason why I say that is because there are a whole ton of small businesses out there that no matter how easy you make it for them, are never going to get started on Facebook ads. They're just not going to. So if you can, do enough of a done-for-you service to kind of push things forward, get the momentum going, and get them spending money on Facebook ads regularly and seeing some benefits from it, then even though that's a done-for-you service, it's nowhere near like real Facebook ad management services. It's just enough of a service to push them down the tracks a little bit, get that momentum going, and then that momentum carries itself. And what you probably have to do in that situation, Joe, I would structure a service where it's like once a quarter, I come in and maybe do like a refresh of their ads and stuff like that, to kind of help them along. So let's say a $97 service is a totally do-it-yourself. Like, hey, Joe, I understand this stuff. Yep, I've been Facebook advertising for a long time. It just sucks. It's too complicated, but I know I got to do it. I'm committed to it. So just give me your tool and that'll make my life easier. Awesome. $97 a month. Great. But there's probably like a huge percentage of small businesses out there where if, again, you created a productized offer for $297 a month, okay? And that $297 a month, we create all the ad campaigns for you. We launch the ads for you. We get in there quarterly. We do a review and a refresh of the ads to make sure that you're putting fresh stuff out there so your offers don't get tired, yada, yada. But it's just stupid simple for you because you're just taking the UpX templates and just, doing a little change of Ruski in there, right? So I would do it that way. It's almost exactly how I would do it. Okay. Did Go High Level change the pricing tiers? No, it's still 97.2, 97.4, 97. They just, for whatever reason, they just don't like publicly show that 497. Like they make it hard to get to. I don't know why that is, honestly. I don't like it, but they do it. It's like I think they want you to get on as a customer first and then upgrade to that after you've like got set up in high level. And there's some logic to that. Jason says, is vertical video, AKA shorts? Yeah. I mean, technically, Jason, vertical video is just vertical video, but like shorts are vertical video that are, typically a certain length, right? So on a lot of the platforms, what they do is they limit the length of those videos to a minute or less, because not only are they vertical, but they're also designed to be short to be a different experience than the horizontal videos that are 25, 30 minutes long on YouTube. But what is happening is that those shorts are not necessarily, they're getting longer, right? So now TikTok, I can't remember what the length of, but like TikTok and Instagram, you can do up to like 10-minute videos or something like that now. So they're becoming less short, and they're just vertical videos that are, almost not any length, but they're getting longer. But they used to be short. My Go High Level journey. When selling systems as a service, how do you sell it? Do you focus on one thing it solves, or is the focus on the whole system? This is a great question, and my answer is both, okay? And the reason why I say that is because focusing on the whole system communicates to your prospects, hey, we can take care of all this stuff for you, which is a value proposition in their mind. That's a certain value proposition. It's nice. It's kind of comforting. Like, oh, you guys are the gurus. You can just do all this for me, right? But it's also complex, hard to understand, and can be very slow because there's a high degree of commitment, right? So if I'm sitting down with you to buy from you the do everything system, it's kind of like, it's a little bit like a marriage. Like I'm getting into business with you because you're going to be somebody who's managing all this critical stuff of my business for me now, right? So that can slow things down. It can complicate things. It can intimidate customers. That's all just a reality of selling that kind of thing. So if you market just on one thing it solves, in addition to that, you now have a different way of getting into their brains and getting their attention and getting some sales momentum with them with something that's easier to understand. So let me give you an example. If I'm selling to, chiropractors, the whole complete marketing system, I'll be out there marketing that, but I also want to be marketing, hey, chiropractors, do you know how much a missed call costs you? When somebody tries to call your office and you're not available to pick it up right away, and you guys, you get voicemails, but you don't respond to those voicemails until the next day, do you know how much that is costing your practice? Well, the stats say X, Y, and Z. That's why we have our missed call text back service. And our missed call text back service will automatically respond to those missed calls and get them into a conversation immediately using automation so that you capture back a bunch of that value. Cool. That's easy to understand, right? Yeah. Missed call, text them back right away. Save some relationship there and get me some more sales that I would have missed. Okay. So you're taking that specific feature and you're marketing that to make it simple in their brains, to give them something to grab onto and start that sales conversation with you. Okay. So this is why I used this example earlier this week on my training calls. If Apple comes out with a brand new iPhone, the brilliance of Apple is they don't make all of their marketing about the gazillion gigawatt, everything that's now available on that phone. That's what the PC industry did, right? That's what Dell and Microsoft and all those guys did. And the reason why Apple was so different is they just marketed the sexiness of the phone or the sexiness of the computer, right? Now, they have to have the substance to back it up. So when somebody asks and goes, okay, that thing's really pretty, but what kind of horsepower is in it? Oh, well, it's got the new M2 chip that's faster than the Intel, whatever. Oh, okay, cool. Now I got the sexy, I got the sizzle and the steak. So you still have to back it up with, here's our substance, here's how we do things, here's all the things that we have in place. But, when Apple launches a new phone, what do? They do? They run a bunch of commercials showing you that you can now blur the background in your videos, right? Cinematic mode, because they know that that's a sexy single feature that people will get really excited about, that they will understand immediately, that can be demonstrated in their marketing very powerfully and quickly and with some upbeat music and having some fun to it and showing people running around in their cameras, taking videos and blurring the background. It's also that it's got a much faster chip. It's got a much, better camera. It's got a much better, it lasts, 3 hours longer on a charge, but those things are just not nearly as sexy to market. Right. And so, look at the way Apple does things. You want to do both. I mean, Apple with their latest, MacBook, they've got all the things to tell you, all the reasons why that MacBook is the best horsepower MacBook ever. But the things that they'll market is just like, it's got pretty new colors, or the screen now goes all the way to the edges instead of having a little bevel around it. That looks kind of annoying. I mean, stuff like that. Okay. That's Jason. Cool. Okay. Elena, thank you. Says, please go over how I can use UpX to market my own business. So Elena, I'm assuming that by that question, you either are not doing any Facebook advertising for your business, or you're doing a very limited amount. Maybe you're confused by it, struggling with it, that type of thing. So what UpX will allow you to do is just simplify creating these marketing campaigns for your own agency. Okay. And so what I'm doing to help you with that is I'm going to take all of my advertising templates and I'm going to put them into UpX for you. We're working on that so that you can then just grab Mike's, R4 lead magnet ad template, pull it into your account and start running it, right? Do a little bit of customization and start running it. And I will tell you specifically, this is the kind of campaign that you should create for this. And, here's how much budget you should put to it and all that type of stuff. So that's how UpX will make things easier for you to market your own agency. It's just going to make it easier for you to take advantage of Facebook ads. Okay. Also though, it sounds like would be a new capability that you could offer your customers too, right? That you can offer them this same kind of capability that I just described for you for your customers. So it gives you another marketing angle for helping your customers, grow their business, reach more prospects, reach more customers. We can help you with Facebook ads, and we can do it in a way that's very simple, very affordable. So you don't have to worry about all the complexity of Facebook ads, when you tried it the last time, Mr. Customer, right? And it was too complex and too expensive. We're going to make it very easy for you. Okay. Carlos says, he says, Carlos, I also wrestle with the same thoughts, but when I do the math, I just need 24 businesses paying $1,500 a month for $432K a year. Yeah, that's it. Brittany says, nice math. Joe says, I also want to rebrand my agency. Would you recommend mentioning my niche in the name of my brand? Joe, I think it barely matters, right? The reason why I say that is if you told me, Joe, that you were going to build the next big national super duper agency, that it's going to be $1 billion company and all that type of stuff, I would say you should come up with a name that is more general. Okay. Why do I say that? Because if you look at any of the great brand names in the world, they very, very rarely have some literal, thing about what they do in it, right? Intel isn't super microchips, right? Apple isn't fast, sexy computer company, right? I mean, the best brands have some sort of name to them that generates curiosity, that is brief, that can be used in a visual way, typically, easily, that you can get the domain for. There's all kinds of magic to choosing a name and associating it with a brand and all that type of stuff. When you're at that level and you're trying to appeal to a massive audience of people in the most powerful way. If it's Joe and maybe 25 employees here soon, Joe, you're kicking butt, that type of thing, but you're selling to every roofer in California and you're named Joe's Roofer Marketing, good on you, man. you will be just fine. There's not going to be any serious drag down to your business because you're Joe's Roofer Marketing. You know what I mean? So I think really the answer is it almost does not matter at all. So if you come up with some sexy name that you like, awesome. If you think Joe's Roofer Marketing, man, I can get the domain and I just want to get going, man, then awesome. Okay. Jason, you're welcome. Absolutely. Good, Elena. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see here. I've got a few more minutes because I have another call at 12:30 here in 10 minutes. So I have a few more minutes. Answer a few more questions. Man, I feel like I gave I think today was like one of those I don't know, we're just talking truth here. Like I may have unsold a bunch of people on their business or whatever because I'm just laying it on you, just giving you an honest truth here. But I hope that's helpful for you guys. Joe says, would you ever incorporate performance fees into a software-based offer? No. And you feel like commission deals are the big money printers? Total BS that you've been sold by some guru is my guess, Joe. The only business that has done that well historically, certainly in the small business space, is really just Groupon, right? Groupon and Living Social and stuff like that, right? They're the only businesses who have done that in any sort of meaningful way with any sort of meaningful scale. And the reason why they can do that, Joe, is because they control the whole transaction, right? So in other words, they are selling a coupon that is it's a Groupon coupon. It's a Groupon, right? So the money comes to Groupon and then they send the check to the small business. So they control all of the financials, everything there. But if you're doing anything where you're selling to whatever business and then you're having to track down with them, well, what exactly did you sell and how much is that was worth? And now you're going to cut me my percentage and stuff like that. Total nonsense. There are no businesses out there that are operating that way for any significant period of time with any significant success. There are people selling you on that's what they're doing. Give it a little bit of time. Those people will come and go. I promise you. I've been doing this a long time. those guys will be here for a little while and then they won't. We're thinking about packaging up your awareness campaign as a done for you service. Absolutely. No, do it. Yeah. Don't pay. Yes. Pay me a royalty, please. Pay me 20% of everything. Perpetuity. No, you absolutely should do that. Absolutely. How would you recommend compensating another business owner in the hair and spa niche who provides me new clients? That's an excellent question, Linda, or Lisa, excuse me. It's an excellent question. So let's start with theoretically, there's a couple of ways, right? One way is, hey, I made money, and so I'm going to give you a percentage of that money. The other way is you sent me somebody, I'm just going to pay you a reward for sending me something. Okay. So, and actually, hold on, before I answer this, Joe, maybe I misunderstood. I want to make sure I understand your question here. If you're talking about just good old affiliate marketing, so like reselling high level or something like that, I may have totally misunderstood what you're saying here. If that's what you're talking about, yes, that's an excellent model. Absolutely. That's an excellent model. And the reason why it's an excellent model versus like selling services to small businesses, for small businesses and then trying to take a percentage or whatever, is because it's all completely tracked. I mean, it's digital, it's completely tracked, and those software businesses have massive margins, so they can afford to pay you those commissions, right? very, very different from a typical small business. So that's I just want to make sure we're talking about apples to apples here. So I'm sorry if I completely hose that one. Lisa, okay. So generally two ways to reward them, right? I mean, one is I won, I got some money in, so now I'm going to give you a percentage of that money. The other way is, hey, you thought of me, you sent me somebody, so I'm going to pay you some money. Here's what I have found by far and away to be the best thing, because these deals are hard to make work unless you really do this the right way. And that is that you simply reward the person anytime they send you somebody. Okay. So, hey, you thought of me, Lisa. You sent me somebody. I haven't sold them yet. You know, it could be 3 months before I sell them, but you thought of me. And because of that, I'm going to reward you. Now, obviously, in that case, Lisa, the reward has to be much lower, right, than it would be if you were, if you were doing like a percentage-based deal off an actual transaction, right? But awesome. Thank you very much, Charles and Linda. You guys take care. So you've got to have a lower thing, but it also will be coming more frequently. It should, right? Because, oh, you just sent me another person. They called me. Awesome. You just sent me another referral. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Here's $250. Here's $250, right? Over and over again. So that person is getting rewarded enough and fast enough and frequently enough that they should be going, oh, I'm going to send another person to Lisa. This is awesome. I just got another, great dinner out on Lisa, right? Now, you may find, Lisa, at some point or another that you go, oh, all these leads Mike sent me are just junk. He's just getting my $250, spiff, but these are all junk. So then you might have to go back to Mike and say, dude, man, none of your stuff converts. So I'm sorry, I can't continue doing this. I appreciate it, but the alternative is if I send you a deal and I don't hear anything from you for 3 months, and I don't know if you sold that person or not, you probably don't have really good tracking, Lisa, to even know, to think about going back to me. And then I'm kind of like bitter at some point or another. Like, man, I sent Lisa a couple of good leads. She never even followed. I don't even know what happened to those things. She probably made a bunch of money. I didn't get anything, right? So it's much harder, human nature, when there's that time delay and there's any question about the tracking and all that. It's human nature that people are going to go, I'm not going to send her any more referrals, right? So highly recommend that you base it on just compensating somebody, even for just thinking of you and sending somebody your way. And then, Lisa, if you want to add fire to this, what you do is every 60 days or something like that, depending on the nature of your business, but let's just say something like that, you show up at Mike's, business, because I've been referring you this stuff, with a $3,000 check or whatever. Okay. So it turns out you signed some business from some of these referrals. You've made some decent money. You've got some good long-term customers coming in, and you take a nice big, bonus check over and drop it off and go, hey man, just want to say thank you so much. Turns out I converted a couple of these customers into business, and I wanted to give you a nice thank you to hopefully encourage you to keep doing it. And now they're going, oh my God, are you serious? Like 3,000, whatever it is, $500, $1,000, whatever it is, something unexpected. Surprise is a very powerful element, right? Surprise will really get people excited and encouraged to continue. So that is what I would recommend, is that 1-2 punch there. Okay. Awesome. Good. John says, is there a metric? Ooh, and then I got to jump here. Is there a metric you'd recommend to tell if a niche is worth pursuing, such as total size? John, there isn't a hard metric like that. What I would do is I would just look for indications that it's a big, healthy, strong market. Do they have trade shows? Do they have conventions? Look at the industry research about that. So if it's a good size industry, if it's a good size niche, you'll be able to find industry research. Is it growing? Are people making money, or are they dying and going out of business, right? So I would just, if they don't have industry associations, if they don't have big trade shows going on, if they don't have any of that stuff, it's probably not a good market. Okay. Or it's a very early small market and you just have to be aware of that you're trying to get in before it's really established. Okay. Everybody, I have to jump on my next call. Thank you so much for being a part of my community. Thank you for your time and attention and business as always. I hope that this was helpful for you. I hope that you have a great rest of your Friday and a fantastic weekend. And I will see you in the community and on a future office hours call. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody. Take care of yourself and we'll talk to you real soon. Bye-bye.